The third film in the Harry Potter franchise was going to be very dark in comparison to the first two films, and the series' new director, Alfonso Cuarón, wanted to prep the three young leads by having them each write an essay about how their characters had changed over the past two films. When it was time to turn in their papers, Daniel Radcliffe had written a one-page summary, Emma Watson wrote a 16-page research paper, and Rupert Grint didn't write anything at all. However, instead of being disappointed, Alfonso was happy that each of their responses to the assignment showed how well they understood their characters' behavior. Some other actors who had homework to do were Gary Oldman, who had only read the first book in the series, and David Thewlis and Michael Gambon, who hadn't read any of the books before being cast in their respective roles. However, all three actors committed themselves to read the third book before filming began.
Welcome to another year at Hogwarts.
Before Michael Gambon was cast as Dumbledore, a few well-known actors were considered for the role after Richard Harris passed away, and one of them was Sir Ian McKellen. However, the problem was that before dying, Richard Harris said McKellen was a passionless actor.
You shall not pass!
So ultimately, the Lord of the Rings star turned down the role of Dumbledore because he felt it would have been inappropriate to replace someone who didn't approve of his work. To help the young teenage actors begin to develop more unique personalities, Alfonso Cuarón gave the actors permission to wear their uniforms however they wanted. In addition to that, he also wanted Harry, Ron, and Hermione to wear regular clothes more often than their Hogwarts uniforms, to allow them to show more of their characters' personalities throughout the movie. Harry Melling, who played Dudley Dursley, was almost recast because of all the weight he had lost between the second and third film. But instead of casting someone else in his role, the filmmakers decided to have him wear fat suits to maintain his pudgy appearance throughout the rest of the films in the series. One of the new characters that brought a darker tone to the story were the ghoulish-looking Dementors, who were inspired by creatures J.K. Rowling saw in her nightmares while she had depression before her success with the Harry Potter novels. To bring the Dementors to the big screen, Alfonso Cuarón was nervous about using CG at first, so he initially tried using practical effects with water tanks. However, their tests weren't producing the results he wanted, so he decided to have the Dementors be CG instead. But they used footage from the water tanks as reference to help design the creature's movement with the computers. Even though the story's tone was dark,